Telling the truth, my marriage and relationship with my husband have been suffering for a long time. I know this does not excuse cheating, but our marriage has been terrible. My relationship with the man I am seeing started probably crossing the line about 10 months ago and kept progressing from there. This situation and our relationship have become increasingly complicated. I don't want to keep living like this, so I have decided to tell my husband and get this over with. I know it is going to be ugly and messy, but I would like to do this as cleanly as possible, as I do care about him. This type of thing is usually found out rather than disclosed where the so reads text or emails, so I'm wondering if I tell him every detail he asks for, no matter how hurtful. Are white lies appropriate here? I would like to limit the fallout with him and everyone else in my life as much as possible. If he asks something and the truth would be needlessly hurtful, I highly doubt we will stay together, and I don't really want to try. Physically started about 8 months ago. Our marriage was suffering way before this started. My relationship with this man isn't like that. We never should have gotten married, and I think this will be much better for both of us in the long term. He is an alcoholic and our relationship has been pretty awful. I know it looks very bad, but neither of us would have done this if it wasn't with each other. But yes, I should have just left a long time ago, but I did not. Our marriage truly was a mistake with or without him. I do not have any STI. His alcoholism is functioning most of the time, and hopefully he can stay sober 2 or so days a week. If he can't, then I will have to do something. She is our shared daughter. I think people are projecting what kind of person that they are and the kind of marriage that they have and how they would feel. Of course, my daughter was not a mistake, and he is not the type of person to mistreat a kid. We are both serious about our relationship. He used to be a family friend, and now we work together, so they have met a few times. I am 29 and we have been married almost 5 years. We are all employed. The man and I just never had this type of relationship before this. We will be fine when I move out, and I'm going to start contacting a lawyer soon. I have no doubt that there will be an adjustment period, but I have known him for a long time and none of those things are true about him. He is an alcoholic. This has been a hard decision, but I am going to soon. I just have to figure out what I am going to say to him. It is going to be really bad with friends and family, especially since my family knows him. I am hoping they come around eventually. We were not interested in each other back then, and it just wasn't an option with the circumstances. I would have been 22 and younger. I will keep these things in mind though. They know we have problems, but I still had an affair and they know the man rather well, so it isn't going to be pretty. My husband is absolutely an alcoholic and we both know it. He has good periods and then really bad ones. My family knows that he has struggled with alcohol, but my family is still going to freak about me having an affair and with who it is. Daughter and I would be fine financially after a while, just the two of us, if I end up doing that. It would be a struggle at first though. I will take doing that under consideration. Neither of us have ever cheated before. It is going to be a nightmare with my family for a while, so I'm hoping that with time, they will be fine. Holidays are going to be extremely awkward. My mother doesn't know anything and neither does anyone else. Of course, I care about my husband's alcoholism. I have gone to hell and back with him and have tried to help him, but there is nothing I can do. We have gotten distant over the last couple of years a lot of the time. He has asked me things before, but I don't think he seriously suspects anything, or maybe he does. Our marriage is awful. I know in theory cheating is never justified, but there are reasons that it happened. I love my daughter more than anything. Most of this happened while she was at daycare, where she would have been anyway, so I could go to work with exceptions. My husband does not make that much more than I do. I don't think one bad action makes a bad person, and he is by no means a creep. I don't really understand that. Our daughter will be with her grandparents next weekend, so that is when I am planning on telling him. I am also looking for another job and have some connections, so that should be soon as well. Nothing ever happened when I was younger at all. I don't think the age difference matters when I am 30, but me being married is wrong. My understanding is that it will not play a role in custody as long as he is not a felon or the parent is abandoning or acting crazy. I will see what a lawyer says. I am going to talk to him about not living together right away. Maybe it will calm things down and he should be fine with it. It has become more of an obvious problem since we have been together, but gotten worse the past few years. The pregnancy was an accident, but I am glad that it happened. It is more than just the alcohol and also about our problems in general, and it is not helped by alcohol. It has gotten worse over the past year, yes. I have been more distant. Other guy drinks some and I drink rarely. Just because my daughter was an accident doesn't mean she was unwanted. She is the best and I will always take care of her. My parents are in love with our daughter and they are great. They don't know anything that has been going on, and I have been debating on whether I should tell her before telling my husband. 50-50 they would let me stay there after they find out. I will eventually explain everything. The standard here is 50-50 with fathers getting every other weekend, and what will most likely happen. I don't have a problem with him seeing her whenever he wants as long as he is sober. He is not a bad father and loves his daughter. I know I am not justified because he is an alcoholic. I don't think any of them ever worked together. For part of the time when I was younger, he was married. I just wasn't that interested in him while I was younger and didn't think of him as an option, and I'm sure it was the same for him. Family would not have liked that. We weren't that close. I always liked him and thought he was cool and good looking. He would be at my house sometimes and family events, but we didn't talk that much. I don't believe he has any contact with his exes. I am going to talk to him today about staying somewhere else before moving in with him and go from there, but it will be soon. I know it will be a disaster. I absolutely care about what this is going to do to him and hate it. I know it is horrible. I want him to get sober and find someone else who is great for him and whose relationship is not so damaged. I know this has been so wrong of me and I don't know why or how I first let myself do it. I am sure I had my justifications and lines started getting blurred, but now I am really happy when I am with him. The rest of the time it is mostly just stressful and I just can't handle it anymore. I have been thinking about telling my mother first, but would rather stay with a friend until we get a place, which shouldn't take long, maybe 2 to 3 weeks I am guessing. I don't know if I will be able to stay with her after I tell her and who with, but I will probably tell her first so she can watch my daughter while I talk to my husband and she isn't told by someone else. I am going to do it soon no matter what my plan turns out to be. He is 36 and I am 29. We have talked about marriage. I don't think there has been any grooming going on and I'm not even sure what that would look like between two adults. He very much wants me to leave him though. The only other person who knows is the part owner of the company I work for that I know of. Uncle definitely does not know. We do live in a smaller town, but I don't think anyone really knows yet. He will not let me look at that woman's profile. I have always known it was wrong what I was doing, but it has been 10+ months of me in my own head and with talking to only him. I have not talked to anyone else about this. I understand a lot more now how these things happen and did not before. I talked to him about waiting a few months at least to move in. He isn't thrilled but seems to be okay, and we will talk more about it later. He does want me to move in though. When we first started talking again, he was supportive and tried to help me. It was one of the reasons we got as close as we did, and I knew that I could trust him. We were always friendly and knew each other, so I knew that he cared about me. I told him when I applied and he put in a good word for me, so yes, he helped me get my current job. I don't think his previous girlfriends worked with him. His marriage ended because they were fighting a lot and she had a miscarriage, and I think they started to resent each other. More people probably do know or suspect than I think. I know what people are going to think. I am hoping when we are serious and enough times passes that most people that I care about it are okay with it. I don't know why I chose to do it this way. I guess that it seemed easier at first and I got deeper and deeper into it, much more invested and attached, and I justified it to myself. My marriage is bad and I knew it would not last and we would eventually split. It was not the easier route and I know I could have saved myself a lot of pain and trouble. I don't know exactly what is wrong with me though, and maybe a therapist would be good. He is friends with my mother's brother. The age gap would seem more significant to me if I was 19 or 20. At 29 it does not seem weird at all. It was weird at first because of him being a family friend, and never thought then that I would be in a relationship with him. My family will not be okay with it and I know it is going to be a disaster. They are going to freak out. It is hard to say physically. The more problems we started having, the less bonding we had and was not as fun anymore, and my physical drive has done nothing but increase. Overall, I would say OM is better, but it is hard to compare. I don't really think I have done anything with him that I have not done with my husband before, but not very recently. I am not really worried about that part of it. He really wants this. This will make our relationship harder though when everyone knows, and our relationships with other people more difficult. I am hoping once people's initial shock wears off, people will be more accepting. I am going to tell my mother some of it Friday and tell my husband said while my daughter is gone. I wasn't going to tell my parents the full story until I talked to my husband. I do not want my daughter to be there when I tell him. If my mother does not let me stay with her, my father probably will, and if not, I have a friend who definitely will. I will be fine financially in a few months and it should not take that long to get a place. My parents do like my husband but also know we have major issues. They didn't like him at first either. I talked to him more about waiting to move in together. I read some articles about toddlers and divorce, and it would probably be what is best for my daughter, and appreciate the suggestion because they are right. I am going to take that advice and slow things down and not make as many major changes as I can at once. I showed him those articles. He was disappointed but understanding after we really talked about it. I'm going to do that for at least a few months and would look better for the both of us and maybe make my husband feel better when we get to that stage. I should also have another job in not too long. My mother is going to be very upset. She is somewhat religious and is going to be disappointed and angry. Her mother, my grandmother, had like a 30-year affair, so she might be more understanding or way more hurt and angrier. My father will probably be more understanding, and a lot of both of their anger will be at on. No one is going to think highly of him at first, just as his family will feel about me, I imagine. Everyone really likes him right now though, not knowing anything. Both of my parents love me and want what is best for me. This is going to be shocking to everyone. My uncle is going to hate him of course, but I truly hope everyone can get past it in time. He is a friend of my uncle's and I have known him for a long time. I'm going to talk to him alone about this. I'm going to do it so not much longer. He has been physical, not violent towards me. Not really worried about that in this instance. He has some decent family and friends. I worry about that too, and realistically will probably happen at least for a while. He will have some support though. I am not trying to screw him over financially or in child custody. I am sure the judge will be fair and that is fine. As long as I did not expose my daughter to anything illicit, which I did not, this will have no impact on custody. It will most likely be every other weekend, and I can raise the issue of alcohol if I feel that I need to. He is not going to want her for a full weekend. I have been tested and I'm fine. I also don't believe my past has much of anything to do with the situation currently, but I am going to go back to therapy. Any bonding is a risk for STD, but I knew the chances were very low. He has never cheated on me that I know of. It would not shock me though if something happened going out with his friends, alcohol, and him being gone. It would not surprise me at all. I never went through his phone or anything because I would have rather not known. He may not have though. We started dating when I was 22 and he was 24. We met because of mutual friends and liked each other almost immediately. We started dating a few weeks after that. We were both really into each other and didn't spend a night apart for a very long time after like the third time we went out. I had dated before him but was not into them nearly as much as I was with him. Our relationship was great for a long time. He always helps people like to a fault where I feel like he gets taken advantage of, and our time with him was completely disregarded sometimes. The alcohol got worse not better after we had our daughter. I expected him to prioritize us and not being gone on the weekends, whether it was helping some guy I have never heard of tow a car or drinking with his friends. I eventually stopped getting upset and bringing it up and just not including him in our plans. If he was there, great, and if not, I didn't plan on it anyway. Us fighting while he is drinking and picking fights has been another huge problem, and those resentments build up, probably for both of us. He is attractive, masculine, very smart, funny, and I know that he loves us a lot. That was very sad to type out. I know nothing he has done have justified my actions. I do not hate him and he has good qualities. I admire about him that he likes to help people. What I didn't appreciate was him being gone all of the time with no thought about us after working all week. I felt almost totally alone and abandoned a lot of the time. After I had my daughter, my mental health got worse. I guess I just expected our relationship to improve and him to be different when she was born. A lot of it was anger at me directly, and I really hate being yelled at, so we have these explosive fights where we say terrible things to each other. He would get really frustrated at our daughter when she was a baby, so I just stopped asking him to do anything related to her. I hated that he would get so angry about a baby doing baby things. I am upset about my marriage ending. I have love for him and care about him. I do wish that I had done things differently, and I don't know why I didn't. After 2, 3, 4 months I felt it didn't really matter anymore, that the damage was already done, and got really attached to him. It was too late. The guilt wasn't going to be worse, and the hurt when it came out would not be worse if I had stopped it at the 4-month mark or something. OM is a lot of those things too. I wouldn't be with a non-masculine man, but husband is more so, I would say. I think and hope that people are wrong about OM and think that you are. It has been a few weeks now. There is some of that. I have been putting other things off because I know we aren't going to be together soon. I loved him and things were just better then. Alcohol was a slight issue that turned into a much bigger one. My point is that I can't say now, go away, you had slept with me. If he is all of those things, then I am as well. I know he does feel guilty about everything, and that is one of the reasons he is pushing us to do the right thing now. If our relationship really turns bad, I will be out, especially if it involves my daughter. He is never going to beat me, I don't think, but I am not worried about it, and definitely am not going to get other people involved. He could get arrested for throwing something for DV, and I think that would be very unfair to him. Most people know most of it. It has been nothing less than a nightmare, and I feel insane. He wants me to stay tonight for some reason, so hopefully he doesn't kill me in my sleep. I'm renting a house for daughter and I to be alone for a couple of days tomorrow. The house rental is just for a few days, and then I'm going back to my mother's, just for us to get away for a while. It was really, really bad though. Everyone hates, mad at me. I think he knows it isn't going to be salvaged. He just wanted to fight more. It was like 13 hours yesterday. I already saw an attorney. My daughter will be in daycare while I work. I am going back over later, so not sure how that will go. My parents are divorced and both remarried. Father was upset at first, but then he was actually kind of supportive. But he has been married like 5 times, so I thought he would be more understanding. He is more upset with the guy I am seeing and saying things about him. My family and close friends don't hate me but are very upset that I didn't talk to them. I have been keeping my phone on Do Not Disturb and trying my best not to look at my texts, and deleted my social media apps. Other people do hate me though, I am sure. I have not talked to my uncle, but I guess he called the guy I am seeing and cussed him out. A lot of my family knows. Mother was really surprised and asked me a lot of questions about it and isn't really talking to me. She is angry and disappointed. The affair, my parents are not really okay with it. My dad is upset with OM mostly and offered me words of encouragement but does not support the actual cheating at all. He also talked about love and all of that though, so I just think he is more understanding than the rest. I think he was just trying to be there for me. He wasn't as harsh as the rest of the family. It was probably 3 or 4 months before I let things get maybe inappropriate. Lunch and texting more, and then we started talking about it because we were talking more. I told him we plan on being together eventually. We just talked. Really no mood to sleep together. It didn't change anything and there is going to be more distance. I know this triggers some eye rolls and I don't blame you, but I would not have made all of these choices if I wasn't sure about my relationship. Taking a step back and progressing slowly is not for us. It is mostly for my daughter, husband, and to a lesser degree other people. We both know it will be an adjustment and we made it way harder than it had to be by our choices. I ended my marriage and that of course has caused me pain, but I know divorcing is the right move, and that is if things work out with the other guy or not. Us not moving in right away is for my daughter only. He is definitely comforting when everyone else hates, mad at me. If things don't work out it would really hurt me, and I know there are no guarantees, but I'm not that worried about it. We will not be taking steps soon in our relationship, so the outcome is the same, whether for my daughter or myself. Most of his more serious relationships still live here. He is not great. He is very upset. He took this week off work. I woke up to paragraphs of texts and he was feeling a lot of different emotions. My daughter and I are going over there for a couple of hours shortly. He has some good people who will support him. No, I have never really been through what he is going through, so I can only imagine. I haven't been broken up with in a very long time and it was never as serious as us. For now, I have just told her that we are going to stay with grandma for a while but still see her dad a lot. I feel really bad. I'm not sure if I should try to help him when he wants to see or talk to me or stay away as much as possible. But then we have our daughter, so that isn't much of an option. If he wants to talk, I can't just blow him off or ignore him. It has only been 2 days though, so maybe it will become clearer. I had to stop taking a couple of things when I got pregnant. About a year ago I got prescribed emergency panic attack meds. I don't take anything daily anymore. I know I have a pattern of not so great choices and I'm definitely going back into therapy, and soon. I do not want to be married 5 times and keep making bad choices. I don't seek them out and feel like they are just there sometimes, and also this is the first major bad choice I have made in a long time. It was a big one though. We aren't doing lunch or anything like that, and I haven't seen him outside of work since he spent the night. A lot of people know. One of my work friends talked to about it a little bit, but no one else has. Work sucks right now and I had to sign something. It is Tuesday though, so not a big accomplishment. I just can't even let my mind worry about some of the job stuff you guys are talking about. He is very good friends with the main owner, so his job will be fine. He is very confident in that and has actually been very supportive of us. Mine is too, but I would rather go someplace else now that everyone knows and work life sucks. I'm not sure what all other management have known, but his friend knows everything. Neither of us have ever cheated in any way before this. None of his exes have ever worked with him that I know of. I am certainly not going to open up any claims. He is 36 and I think if he was going to be an alcoholic or addict, he would be by now. His drinking is not on the same planet as my husband's. The only type of custody agreement I have seen is they can't move outside a certain mile radius, and that wouldn't be a problem 1 county over. That would have no effect on drop-off, pick-up. With my mother helping sometimes it would be a little more of an inconvenience to drive a little more, but wouldn't have a big impact. I have just been thinking about it and haven't made any decisions. It is in my head so far, but I'm sure the things I think are being said are actually being said. I have heard from many other people, so it probably isn't far off. I didn't even think about embellishments either. I made all of these choices that led to all of this, but guarantee I never will again. I don't believe either of us would be up for reconciliation in the future, but who knows? I thought a lot of things would never happen, and so did he. I don't understand why that is bad or surprising if we are planning to be together, not considering the cheating and all of that, just the paying for a lawyer. I am always with my daughter and I do everything for her. My daughter will always be with me and be taken care of. I would literally die first before she lived with my mother or is abused or whatever. My daughter is the best thing in my life. She doesn't get dumped on my mother. They love each other and want to see each other, and it would be like 2 hours max most of the time. This is time they would be spending together anyway. I have done everything for her almost exclusively since the day she was born. Anytime she spends away from family and with other members of her family is not her being dumped someone. I clearly did a terrible thing to my husband, but did not think him paying for a lawyer would compound on that and get such a strong reaction. It is all hurtful to my husband on another level, I know this. I very much wish that I would have divorced or left before this started. After it happened once, that vow was broken and it was terrible, I know. It would be less hurtful if I took it out of our savings. My husband and I are not together, and the idea is that my new BF and I are in a relationship, and he did something for me by paying and taking care of all of that. I could pay for it, but he offered and wanted to because I will have a lot of expenses coming up. He has paid for things for us but doesn't give me cash. I have empathy for my husband and mixed emotions about all of this. I know he is going through hell right now and I hope he will be okay and soon. The fear is that I will wake up one day and be in an unhappy relationship, which is exactly where I was a few days ago. I don't think he has been controlling, but I'm aware we are not in a real relationship yet and can't know yet how things will be. I have known him forever though and think I have a pretty good idea of who he is. He just really wants me to get divorced and to get all of this going and over with so we can be together. We have been sleeping together for 8 months, of course he does and has for a while. I don't think he is a knight in shining armor, I just think it is a relationship and what people do in relationships. I don't know where creepy and obsessed came from. Him paying for my lawyer doesn't change that we are slowing down. I am not going to move in with him right away. I know the relationship might turn bad, but my marriage is already bad. I am almost positive it isn't because I have known him forever and because of how things have gone over the last year or so. I am going to go to therapy very soon. I am not sure what else to add or do to improve myself besides getting a divorce and going to therapy and not moving in with him. Hopefully he will be better off without me. I hope that he gets sober and finds happiness. We have slowed down and are not planning on doing what we were going to do, move in together, and give everyone time to adjust and accept. I know it does not seem like it from the outside, but our relationship is great and he is a great guy. I know there is a chance thing will not work out, but I believe it is slim. If this doesn't not work out, I am not going to date for quite a while. The fact that her father and I are splitting up and that I had an affair will have some effect on her. I don't think it will be terrible. I love my step-parents, but as a kid it hurts that your parents are split up, then you become an adult and understand more. Or because she is 3 it will have no impact on her or a positive one. Maybe her step-parents will be awesome and her dad will get sober. That would be a better trajectory for her than right now. I'm sure people lie about their relationship when they cheat. He is an alcoholic and everyone knows it. I have read a lot of cheating stories as well, and there is another side to that. Every story I have read from BS perspective, they portray themselves as absolute saints, martyrs, and they gave their so everything, when you know a percentage of them were horrible people and partners. They are then surprised their so ends up cheating. It doesn't make cheating any less wrong, just not surprising. One thing I will not take credit or blame for is his alcohol use. That is all him. I have gone through hell and back with him, tried to help him. Nope, he is definitely drinking a lot. Hopefully after some time he will get at least somewhat normal. This is silly to keep arguing about whether he is an alcoholic or not. I haven't seen anyone cheer me on or justify my actions. I haven't either. There have been people who actually tried to give me advice rather than attack me every single comment. I truly hope that he can be sober and improve his life, but it has nothing to do with me anymore. There is no magic words or action I can ever do that would make him stop. It is on him and it is his decision. It is over and I'm not sure what people expect me to do for him. I have spent years of my life helping him and I'm just done. I don't have to be miserable in a relationship and how not normal and how bad things really were. Since I have known him forever, I know the type of man he is, so I knew it wasn't just bonding, wasn't being manipulated, and that we had real potential. If this was some random coworker, you would probably all be correct. Even with our affair, it is still a healthier relationship than my marriage. Having said all of that, cheating was not justified. We hurt a lot of people and it made things more complicated than it needed to be. I don't know how I'm going to move all of us forward and get to a place where the negative feelings are much less so co-parenting as possible. My husband is still really pissed. He tried to go to his house a few days ago. It probably would not have been this bad if I just left him before doing anything. So yeah, I should not have cheated and regret hurting him like this, but also love this guy and I'm happy with him. My comment: do you think these two are messed up people? Comment down below and hit that sub and I'll see you in the next one.